If you have a boyfriend that's not your boyfriend, he's got 3 months. He has 3 months to make you his girlfriend, or you walk the away. He's got 1 month to take you on a date.
Anytime girls start setting rules for how you have to behave, it's automatically an issue. Okay. So I get it. This girl probably went for some guy. She didn't get the treatment that she was expecting, that she thought that she deserved. So now instead of, looking inside of herself and be like, what did I do wrong? Or what did I not do that was perfect to not get the treatment I wanted? Instead, we're just going to blame guys and then set even more unnecessary, arbitrary, and extremely delusional boundaries, right? Or expectations, however you want to word it. So that's all that this is.
A date. He's got 2 months to be exclusive with you, and he's got 3 months before he asks you to be his girlfriend.
Never want to ask them to be your girlfriend. You want to make sure that they bring up this conversation first, and then from there you can open that door if that's what you're willing to do. But you never want to ask them to be your girlfriend. This is just a recipe for disaster in the modern era. Now, some guys get lucky and they find a certain type of girl early on where she respects the dynamic properly. So sometimes you get lucky, but generally speaking, with social media, I really wouldn't go down this path. Let them ask you what we are. What are we? The classic question. Is this going anywhere? Any of these types of, questions they'll eventually ask you. And then from there, you open the door to saying, oh, well, I don't really like this part. This is not something I'm comfortable with because, most of them have naked pictures all over Instagram. And if they change it for you, okay, well, that's a start, right? I saw some sort of a meme or a reel where it basically says you find the girl you like and you tell her to stop being a hoe, which is a pretty sad, but honestly a little bit true way of looking at modern dating, right? So anyway.
Friend. Any longer than that, he's stringing you along. He likes the essentials of having you around. He likes the benefits of the girlfriend, not girlfriend.
And see how this is also assuming that they get no benefits? I guarantee you the guy's running around doing all kinds of stuff. But those are all expectations and entitlements. So that's not you actually doing stuff. That's just what you're supposed to do, right?
But he doesn't want to date you, and you will continuously waste your time and energy on someone that doesn't want it or doesn't, quite frankly, deserve it.
Right. They don't deserve it, yet they're the one that's rejecting you. That's pretty good cope logic, isn't it?
But if you are still wondering after a month and a half of, does this guy like me? He does not. That is a significant amount of time for...
Guys can like a girl, but not want to jump through and meet your arbitrary demands when you decide it's time, right? The truth is, it's hard times for everybody, right? So to assume that a guy needs to do X, Y, Z immediately, especially this 2-month timeline, I mean, good luck, all right? There's less and less reasons today to commit as a guy. There's not more reasons, there's less, okay? So, and I mean, this whole topic around commitment usually rotates around guys because, yes, why would we commit? Why would a guy commit? What is the ultimate benefit that they will be receiving? The only time it's worth it is when the girl is truly extraordinary. If it's an extraordinary girl, okay, might be worth it to commit. But how many girls now are actually extraordinary? Now, sure, the automatic counter argument, well, how many extraordinary guys are there? Fair enough. But at least with us, there's an expectation of what we must do. So we have to provide value. For a girl, though, she really doesn't. And a lot of guys are going to accept that. So it's definitely not equal. I'll say that. Definitely higher standards for guys, obviously. And anyone disagrees with that is just being willfully ignorant or preaching some sort of ideology.
For someone to show their feelings towards someone. And then as it creeps up to the 2-month mark, if you guys are not exclusive,
Also, the question is too, is how are we supposed to show our feelings? All through signing contracts? For girls, it's always about their security. So what, I'm supposed to sign a contract and then I'm showing my feelings? What about all the other stuff I do? That's not good enough? So it always just comes down to sign the arbitrary contract. Every single time is the same, okay? In this case, it's a verbal contract, right? But it's a contract is what it is. So I just find it funny how insistent so many girls are on this. And yet they're never happy anyways because they think that guys need to do everything for them on their timeline. Not the way it works. Okay, if you don't like it, then you have to go find somebody else. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. just the entitlement and expectation side of things, I just can't quite understand where this comes from. In reality, of course, I understand where it comes from the fantasy and delusional perspective, but when we're actually living in reality, I mean, be realistic about this.
If he wants to kiss other people after 2 months, you better shut that door and lock it.
Sad, newsflash for you, and it's going to be very sad for a lot of girls to understand this, but guys always going to want that. And there's only two types of guys that want it and tell you the truth about it, and guys that want it and lie about it forever. Those are your two camps. So yes, we're always going to want this for the rest of our lives. Whether we do it or not is a whole nother conversation, but I'm saying they're always going to want to. Men are always going to want to, all right? Just like you always need a backup guy. So whatever, I guess we can call it even. What is it? What was a statistic recently posted? It was 70% of girls or something have a backup guy, or admitted in a survey to having a backup guy. So you guys have backup guys. We want to kiss other girls forever. Such is life. Such is the reality, I guess.
You better shut that door and lock it. Like, unless you want to continue being like a sneaky link type situation and you want to kiss other people too, and like you have that agreement.
See, when you want it, it's okay. But if the guy wants it, no. Of course, if it's mutual, which we know how that goes.
If he wants to kiss other people, but he doesn't want you to kiss other people, or he does sneaky shit, but then gets infuriated with you for locking eyes with someone at a bar, he can get...
It's not equal. That's why it's not equal. And a lot of you girls are never going to understand this. It is not the same for us as it is for you. Okay? So yes, men are territorial. This is how we are. Get over it. It's not that surprising of a concept, okay? It's not one for one. I know you love to push this, but having a backup option means by default that you're not playing the game the same way. It's always just rules for thee and not for me, right? That's always what it comes down to. So no, this is the case. It makes perfect sense. Let's stop pretending like everything is equal when it suits you, but then when it doesn't suit you, then somehow it's not equal. Sort of like chivalry, right? I mean, a very small percentage of guys get chosen, so it is what it is. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And guess who dictates the game? You guys do. You guys are the choosers, the selectors. So you guys are dictating the rules of the game and then getting mad when the players are playing the game to the best of their abilities. I mean, make it make sense, right? Of course, you have to think on a little bit of a higher level to come to that conclusion.
Out. Stop putting up with this bullshit. I don't know, I need to focus on this, I need to do this, I don't know, like I'm not ready for a relationship. No one's ready for a relationship. No one is like, yes, I am so ready for a relationship.
Well, of course, that's not true either. Plenty of girls are ready for a relationship. Just because you guys lie about it half the time doesn't mean it's not the truth, right? For us as guys, though, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of setup that comes into a relationship. I mean, for a girl, all you gotta do is just show up. For us, we have to have stuff figured out very deeply, whether it be our education, our finances, our whole situation, body, you name it. All these things need to be set up for us to be able to actually carry this long term. Otherwise, it can get sticky pretty quickly.
People just waltz into other people's lives at the most random times, and if that person fits, then they fit, and if they don't fit, then they don't fit, and it's that easy.
Well, it's not always that easy, of course, because now, right, you have the government interfering in the marriage process, so now the government has a vested interest in two people being together or not, right? There's, religious reasons, there's all kinds of different things. So no, to just pretend like if people want to be together, they could be together, it's never really like this in reality, right? Never is. So let's not pretend that it's this simple. It's obviously complicated, and if it wasn't, most people wouldn't have a problem with it. What you do notice is most people pretend there's no problem. They go into a minefield, and then they come out completely torn apart, right? That's what most people experience. So yeah, we got to start being honest about these things. If you guys like my content and want to support me, make sure to check my Patreon in the description below. I have a bunch of private content on there and you get to interact with me.